will now. Hello there. Happy Mother's Day to all of you mothers out there, and even to those daddies who act like mommies. Happy Mother's Day. I'm just waiting for the chat to pop up. Any day now, chat. It's not there. Try it again. Okay, there it is. All right, let's see who's here real quickly. Oh wow, you guys been talking for a while. Kim, Joni, Dawn, Christy, Charlene, Tracy, Brenda, Christy, Patricia, Karen, Leanne, Judy. So many, many more. Happy Mother's Day, everyone. I'm scrolling through. All right. So today we're going to make a scrappy log cabin. Yep, scrappy log cabin. As in, here are my 2.5-inch squares. Here are my 2.5 by 4.5, my 2.5 by 6.5, and my 2.5 by 8.5. We're going to only make 8.5-inch squares. And then, because it's so scrappy, I have decided to take the solids 8.5 by 2.5, 6.5 by 2.5, 4.5 by 2.5, and 2.5 by 2.5-inch squares. And I'm going to make a scrappy log cabin, which is scrappy on both sides. Scrap fabricies on one side, solid scraps on the other side. Won't that be fun, right? And then I think I'm going to opposite them too. Like make it to where they're going opposite ways. I think I'm going to do that. That'll be fun. So I am going to lay these lovely bins in front of me somehow, some way, in an order of which I can pull from to make it easy on myself. Put the lid right here. And I told you I do these pre-cuts because I can just do whatever I want whenever I want because they're already cut. And this is the stuff I do when I don't feel like sewing, have no sojo, or I just need something to do to take up time not watching TV. It's kind of good to break away from the TV every now and then and just cut fabric. So yes, I do have 4 tubs of 2.5-inch squares. I have enough to where now I can make anything I could ever possibly want with 2.5-inch squares because I have so many. All right, we're going to go over here to the machine and I'm going to tell you how this works. You're going to take a 2.5-inch square of a solid. Then you're going to take a 2.5-inch square of a scrap. Then you're going to take a 2.5 by 4.5 of a scrap. Then a 2.5 by 4.5 of a solid. Then a 2.5 by 6.5 of a solid. Then a 2.5 by 6.5 of a print. Let's see if I can get one out here. Here. And then a 2.5 by 8.5 of a print. Right here. Then we're going to do the opposite. I'm just going to grab 2.5 solid, like this. I'll just put it underneath it. And then a print. And then a solid 4.5. Oops, we need a different color. We'll go here. Then 2.5, 4.5 of a print. 2.5, 6.5 of a print. If I could just find one and grab one. They're kind of really tight in here. And then 2.5, 6.5 solid. And 2.5, 8.5 of a solid. We don't have this orange color on there yet. So these are the blocks. I'm going to make them opposites like that. So I'll, huh? Well, yeah, that's fine. I just meant for, so each color is different. Get where I'm going here? Scrappy on both sides. We're making 8.5-inch blocks. And this should go pretty quick because the first part is really just piecing however many blocks of these together. So if I'm taking 4 of these and putting them together to make one block in opposites of each other, then I want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. I want 10 across by, say, 12 down. So that means whatever 10 across by 12 down is, I'm going to piece a bunch of these with a bunch of 2.5-inch squares, and then we'll just rotate opposites for the center. So I'm going to just sew a bunch of the centers first and chain piece pretty much the whole entire project. We'll see how far we can get today, but this is what we're doing. So I'm just going to grab a pile of 2.5-inch squares in hopes that they're all different right here. And if there's repeats, I'll just pull them out because I do have repeats in all of this. And I do have some solids accidentally mixed in there because I can't control everything. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and sew 2.5-inch squares first. Happy Mother's Day, Mom. My mom is here, guys. She came to visit. Even though I was just on the phone with her, but she came to watch me. All right, here we go. I don't know how many I'm making again. I already forgot. And I have some kind of issue going on here. What did I sew last? I don't even remember. It's not that. It's bobbin issue. It's a bobbin issue. Oh, tangled in there again. It happens. This time it wasn't coming unthreaded. It was a tangle. All right. So every 4 that I sew, okay, that looks better, will be a block. Got to get some of these other colors. There's so many colors here of my solids. There's pinks, browns, light blues, grays, you know, a little bit of everything. Oranges, light greens, yellows.
You need me to sort anything for you?
Purples. I'm just trying to make sure I get a little bit of everything while I do this. So I'm not piecing the same. That was the same as that. We need a different one. Alright, those are all the same. Stack them out of the way. I do get a lot of repeats when I cut my squares. Excuse me. And this will be super scrappy because I'm going to attempt to have everything different. The only thing that'll be similar stuff is the solids. Everything else will be super scrappy. Oh, nope, that's from that same fabric. Let's just put that over there. Sorry, one of those out. I really do love Scrappy quilts. Bunch of those, move all those off the top. That's probably why I cut so many scraps, because I love Scrappy quilts. Yep. I also like the fact that I can make whatever I want whenever I want to make it. Like today. log cabin. Yeah. Repeat, repeat, repeat. I don't want any repeats. I'm already low on my wonderful stack of scraps. So there'll be a mix of fabrics in here, like Christmas fabrics and whatever else. It's just a big, huge blend, and I'm already out of that pile. Oops, that's two. Put this over here. All right, more 2.5-inch squares. Let's grab from this section right here. I don't know what I'm at so far, but we'll just have fun with it. These are all the same fabric all the way to here. That's that over there. Those are the same. That's different, 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 different. There's a lot of, what is the word for it? Fussy cut pieces in here too. That's the same as that one. That's the same as that one. We don't want that one. Ooh, we can take one of these. Take that. Oh, we got some solids mixed in here, and that's a big. We're not going to use those because we don't want two solids and have a specific color order of all the other stuff. All right. Grab another stack. Just separate out. Those are all the same. Just throwing up stuff that's not the same as what's already over there. Oop, gotta have a Batman in there. There's Batman. Gotta have butterfly. What that is, but it's going in. I don't really want too many blenders. I also don't want all the Christmas fabric. You know, gotta save some of that for other projects. Oh, that's two pieces of fabric. I only want one. Oh, we got some hearts. Those are all blenders. Blenders. I don't want really that many blenders. Zigzag.
Do you cut all your scrap pieces while watching TV or listening to music?
I listen to music when I cut scraps, unless I'm cutting scraps while Scott is asleep. Sometimes I watch videos or something. Not very often, but sometimes. There's a lot of repeats in these piles that I'm picking up right now. Try to skip some of this stuff.
Are those quarter log cabins?
Yeah, they're not full log cabins. They're quarter. Because we're going to turn it into one giant thing. All right, that should be enough. Let's sew all that up now because this is all repeat stuff. sew all this real quick and see where we are. Because I do have a whole bunch of 2.5 inch squares. And actually, I should probably start clipping these off and sending to Scott so that he could start pressing towards the solids. Just press towards the ones that are solid, okay? And here's your wonderful tool. You can use the other iron too, because I don't know how much water is left in the other one.
Oh, I don't get to use the new one because you ain't got no water in it?
Well, I don't know how much water is in it.
You should pull me that. Here, I'll move it there for you.
Yep. It's the only reason why we're doing quarters is because I didn't want to go bigger than an 8.5 inch block. You know, if that makes any sense. This is an easier size to do a double-sided, you know, all whatever. Makes it fun.
How many hours a day do you spend sewing and cutting and doing all that?
How many hours a day do I spend sewing and cutting and everything?
Majority of the ones you're awake.
Majority of the time that I'm awake, yeah. There are days like today. This is the first time sewing today, and it'll stop in 2 hours. I really don't do much on Sundays. But I mean, I do get sewing done. It's just while live streaming. I used to sew on Mondays. I used to film, but lately I haven't been doing that because I end up doing other things. And I try when it comes to like my fabric, cutting up my scraps and stuff. I spend an hour in the room at a time over in the fabric room. I can see my floor now, so that means I've got a lot accomplished finally, because I could see the floor. Before, I couldn't see the floor.
Goodness, what did you do there?
Yeah, that's the starting one where the thread got tangled in the bobbin case.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. It's just press it towards the dark.
I'm just saying, it's a big mess there.
Yep,
okay?
it's fine. Yep. It's in the seams, so it doesn't matter.
Okay. Okie dokie, boss.
Also, can you separate that into when you're pressing and making piles? Can you separate it into 2 piles equally stacked so each pile has like 20 in it? You know.
Okay.
Please, thank you.
Am I putting them by color?
Nope, not by color.
You just want 2 separate piles?
Yep, because some are going to be pieced on the solid, some are going to get pieced with the print.
Okay.
Half and half. This is probably enough to make 2 quilts here, though. So I'll be sewing for a while if I have enough for 2 quilts. I enjoy it.
Which one's the dark?
No, just solid. Press it towards the solid one, not the dark. The fabric that has no print on it.
Okay.
The plain fabric.
Okay. How big of a quilt are you going to make?
How big of a quilt am I going to make? Well, let's see. Hold on. I will tell you right now. 10, 80 by 96. That's how big the quilt will be when I make 10 blocks across by 12 blocks down. But that's 8.5-inch blocks across. You know what I mean? Yep, that's how big. It's gonna be a big quilt. Like I said, there's enough here to make 2. I don't even have to do 8 or 10 across by 12 down. I could do 8 across by 10 down if I wanted. Because there's enough here probably to do so. I don't know if I want to piece all of it at the very moment, though. I don't know where I'm at this point. I'll probably stop after piecing the pile that I placed here in front of me. I'm trying to blend the colors in, though. Because there was an equal amount of color when I cut it. So I might just sew the whole pile. I don't know. Let's just sew the whole pile.
One lady's talking about buying a new car. Tell them about our neighbors.
Somebody's talking about buying a new car. Our neighbor has a car for sale. It's a 1956 Ford Thunderbird.
Yeah, we were talking about buying.
We were talking about buying it to fix it up and then reselling it. But that depends on how much they want for it, because I looked up online and they're wacky crazy. But this one has been sitting and sitting and sitting and has been eaten by, you know, whatever, because it's been outside under a tarp thing. All right, let's choose some more. Let's just go into another pile.
Yeah, we were going to fix it up to sell it.
We thought about it, but depending on if it's in a budget, we won't be able to do it if it's not in a budget.
Maybe you have an odd number here, so these aren't even. One's one more than the other. Okay.
That's fine. Just I'm adding more right now. Trying to grab.
Do you spray starch any of your fabric?
I do not use starch. Only if I absolutely have to for something. I'm not really a starch fan. I mean, sometimes it's needed, but
Okay, what do you want these?
if everything is neatly pressed.
This one has one more than that one.
Well, then here, have another stack.
Ah, yes, please. Do you want me to keep going with those two then?
Well, yeah, just keep going on these.
Why not? Give me the one. This one has one more, right?
That one is the one that has one less.
No, it's the one with the yellow on top.
Oh, okay. Now I'm just picking fabric out. I'm not putting any grunge in here because it's too close to being a solid. And I'm not putting any white on white, any tone on tone. Again, too close to being solid. Like I said, there's a little bit of everything in all these bins.
Oh, that one has geckos on. That's awesome. All colorful.
I'm not putting grunge stars in here either because, again, too close to being solid. All right, let me sew all this up, see where we're at.
Am I supposed to be counting how many of these are here?
Nope. I'm just trying to sew up all the squares.
What happens if you have one with 3?
Oh, so sometimes this happens when I'm choosing. You see that? 3 fabrics got sewn together. I just need to re-sew it and take one off. Take one off, then re-sew it. Sometimes I do that. When you cut them together, especially when you starch, there's that starch conversation. When you cut the stacks together and you starch the fabric, they get stuck together easier than they do when they're not starched, but it still happens when it's not starched. I'm trying to only grab one though. Sometimes. It happens. Not that often, but it does happen. Especially with, I don't know why, but when I cut solids, it happens a lot because I cut solids in bulk. If you guys have questions, just ask.
I'm gonna ask you. I'm learning.
What foot am I using? I'm just using the basic foot that comes with the machine. I never use really the walking foot because that thing sounds like a machine gun. It is very loud. For this Juki Tail 2010Q, I have a review on the machine because I unboxed one a long time ago. This one, actually. And I put the foot on so that you guys can see. And then I said, you know, if Juki's watching here, you guys need to do something about your design of the walking foot because it is loud. Oh, thank you, Marilyn. That's super kind, super sweet of you. Thank you. He typed in the bacon thing if anybody. I don't ask for donations, just so you guys know. If you've been watching a long time, you know this. So, but if you feel the need, you must. You can click on the bacon link or.
Gives us more money.
Yeah. Doesn't take out as much of a percentage, but thank you, thank you, thank you.
But YouTube likes to take the money.
Yeah, Jukis are loud, period. Yes, for sure. This is a lot. And you know, the funny thing is when I take it completely apart, clean it properly, oil it up, and do all the things, it's so quiet for like the first 2 weeks. Then all of a sudden, it's as loud as can be all over again. It don't matter. But it only does it when I'm fully clean it, you know? It's crazy. Oh, I'm out of bobbin.
You use yours an awful lot, so it would be.
Yeah, I use mine a whole heck of a lot. Yes, I just blew the dust out of my bobbin case. I tend to do that with every bobbin change. I blow the dust. It's kind of like a habit. And then I complain why my nose is filled with little dust particles. Because I do that.
Symbol showing up on yours. They're saying it's not showing up on theirs.
What weird little symbol? Yeah. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, is it showing up on yours?
How far up
Yeah,
is the comment? Yeah, it's there.
Some of theirs are saying that they're not seeing it. Because I asked them earlier what that is. They don't know what it is.
Oh, I don't know.
Coming up on ours.
Oh, I don't have very many left. Let's see.
Oh, do you need your stacks? I got tons of
No,
stacks.
no, no, no. Just for the 2.5 inch that I'm on. I gotta have this dog in here from a Tula fabric. See, Scott? My fussy cut dog.
Oh, that is so cute.
It's a Rottweiler.
Yeah, he's a rot. He looks beautiful. Or she.
It's a he or a she. It's a
Yeah.
Rottweiler, though.
Yeah, I know it's a rot. Beautiful. I got Jack Skellington's wife over here. Girlfriend.
All right, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 left. How many of these do I have? 1, 2. Let's put these on here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, I have used all of my 2.5 inch squares of solid up. And I'll sew these ones too, because technically those are part of it. Grab these off the wall and sew them real quick. All right, I'm going to snip these apart, pass them to Scott, and take some of the piles that he has, if they're equal amounts right now.
One has one more, but other than that, they're equal. These two are perfectly equal. Those are the new ones. I can cut them. I can cut them.
All right. So now I'm going to start. I have all these. There's 2 equal piles here. So one of the piles gets the solid, and the other pile will get the prints. So I'm going to start with the prints because I have to pull from the tub. I'm going to go ahead and grab all this down. That way it's all ready to sew. Okay. We're working on the 4.5. So I'm going to grab that pile. He's making 2 equal piles again so that I can finish off. Hopefully should have an equal amount. Now I'm just going to grab a stack of my 2.5 by 4.5, and I'm going to start attaching them to one side. And they're scrappy as scrappy gets. And then all the repeats I'll set aside. I don't have as many repeats in my 2.5 by 4.5 inch box because I try to just cut, it's usually what's left of the fabric, and I try to put some in the 2.5, 6.5, and 8.5 inch piles when I do cut my scraps. We're not doing solids. This one does have solids in it, so I try to avoid using solids. Because that's for the next pile, but just the ones that I've cut. A little bit over so I can even reach this stuff. Come on. And some of it's the same as my 2.5 inch squares, which I'd seen this, so I'm going to just set it aside because I'm not going to use something that I have a repeat of, or at least I'm going to attempt it. I try to remember what I have in here to do that. You know, what I've already sewn with. Here's this fabric. It came up at the same exact time. Look at that.
Yeah.
It was equal right there. And I know for a fact I've used this one.
Just switch it out.
Yeah. Well, I'm putting something different on there anyway, but. Like I said, I have repeats. It's not my fault. It's just how I cut my scraps. And obviously we can't control that. When I have a scrap that's a big size, I have a video of showing how I cut some for one pile, some for another pile, and so on and so forth. But I cut every size that I can. So I get the most 10-inch squares first, or I get the most, 8-inch squares or 8.5 inch. I cut all sizes now. So except for 9 and 9.5, because nothing equals that when I sew. So I don't bother cutting that size. While he's over there still making 2 piles, I'm going to switch to the equal amount of solids that are here and start putting some of these solids on here. But I got to remember that I'm not grabbing the same color. So see how that one's green? I'm just going to set that one, grab a different color.
You need more, right?
Oh, no, I'm good. All right, so I'm just going to sew these on here. I'm throwing things. Mix this stuff up. It's not very mixed up.
That puppet dog, he is amazing.
Isn't it cute? Yeah. Margaret looks like she's going on a quilt retreat. That should be fun. I've never been on a quilt retreat. My cruise coming up in August will be the first retreat of sorts that I've ever been on.
Oh, you go to Becca's? That's
well, obviously, yeah, it's like a quilt retreat when I go to Becca's.
What is a quilt retreat? Get together to quilt,
yep,
right? So
a quilt retreat is a bunch of people getting together to quilt. So technically, yeah.
Becca's, you got you, Becca, Mary, Ian.
Yep. Yep, and we just do whatever we want and have fun, sewing wise. And you said you have more.
That's time. What do you mean?
Two equal stacks again.
These two are guaranteed equal. The other one has one more than the other.
Okay, this stack will go with me right now, and that one will go for the prints. Wait.
Wait till I'm done.
Okay, yeah. Sewing with the solid down.
The reason that one has one extra, I'm pretty sure it's because of your 3. The one that had 3 that had 2.
Yeah.
Whenever I get down to the end here, I should have one here. Solid on that.
Oh, that's because it's sitting right here. Oh, that's funny. All right, well then that can just go over there, and this can go over here, and I'm gonna clean up my lovely mess.
Every now and then
Here you
get a
go.
mess up. Huh, Tiffany?
Yep, every now and then. Actually, let's just do it right now. Put that there. Put that here. Place that there. Place this pile here. There. There. And is there room there? Yep, there is. All right. We're done with 2.5-inch squares, so they can go back on the shelf. And pulled from every box. The next goal with these 2.5-inch squares is to make a triple Irish chain. That would be fun. How goes that? Not these though, because those are repeats. All right, keep going. This is going to be so much fun with all the colors like this, just all niche matched. I think I cut the equivalent of 4 yards for the solids, in case you were curious.
Yeah, those two are even, and then here's the extra one. Anyway.
So there was one extra randomly.
Yeah, don't do that.
Well, what I can do is the 8.5s won't need
You
as
gotta keep a penguin.
much. Let me just cut off of here real quick and make one extra.
Yeah, you had that one that I did.
I passed it to you though.
Yeah.
That leaves that to go in.
But it had 2 face
not
sides.
the right
So
side.
get this other face side that you didn't give me back on. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
What? No, that's bad.
The other one got put in the box. And then there's all this pressed towards the solid fabric. I'm not sure if I even cut an equal amount. I just started cutting fabric today, so.
Oh, do I have to make 2 stacks?
No, because those should all have a solid around.
So I don't have to make stacks?
No.
Okay. All those are 1?
Well, no. I forgot I did piece some of the ones. If it has a print on one side, then that's one pile. If it has a solid on one side, that's the other pile. He's not getting me. These are 2 equal piles right here? These 2 piles are equal now?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what we just did. We made those equal.
Okay. Then these go in this pile. Oh, I can't go that far because I need opposites again. This pile wasn't as big. I have to stop with however many are here. I just thought about that right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
So which one? Am I aiming towards the big piece?
Yep, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I'll do 16. I just thought about that because I need another 4.5 of this to go on the top part, and whatever's left, I'll make however many blocks are left because I didn't even think about that.
Hey, these are all going in the same stack or no?
Pull 16 of these out.
Busy.
Yeah.
Are these all going in the same stack or no?
You know, you made me lose my.
That's why I'm asking you before you're counting.
This is one stack. The one with the.
Okay, what are these?
The one with this is another stack.
Okay, what are all these that are on this stack?
That's the stack, yeah.
So all these go in the same stack?
Yes.
All these?
The ones with this are a different stack.
Well, I don't have one of those.
No, you have a whole stack of them.
I just did 7 of them in a row.
This is different than that. This
Oh.
is the solid on the outside.
Oh, so I only have like 2 of those?
No, there's a whole stack.
They're almost all going to be the other kind? That's what you're saying?
It's a mixture of both. All right, here we go. I'm going to grab 16 of these out of here. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Oh, that purple's
11,
awesome on this
12,
one.
13, 14, 15, and 16. There we go. 2 piles of 16 left, just in case. Move that there.
Oh, it's Batman. And Batman.
All right, so now I'm just going to pull out the 4.5-inch squares that are not repeats. One of those. That'll go, that'll be, I can go in this.
Hey, the puppy dog's not going sideways, right? He's going to be up and down, right?
I don't know how it'll end up.
Oh, so it's not going to be like this?
I have no idea.
Well, you got to put the puppy dog facing straight up.
All right, let's see if this is enough. I don't know how many I have right here. Oh, there was 2 of those. Didn't even see because they get stuck together. So, is everybody having a lovely Mother's Day?
Yeah, their Mother's Day.
I wasn't feeling good this morning. And then I got up and my daughters, both my daughters texted me first thing this morning. And then I took a nap, woke up from nap, and then both my daughter-in-laws called and sent me a text, Happy Mother's Day. So the only one I haven't heard from is my son. Maxine called to invite me to swim, but I had live, so obviously I didn't have time to go swim. But, you know, at least she invited me. And then I called my mom and talked to her on the phone. And then that's what I've done so far today. So far, a good day. I guess. Kind of boring, actually. But do we really need anything more than boring, you know? All right, I gotta choose through these again. One here. One there. Grab some more. Let's see what we got going on here. Here, let's do one of those. Something with cuteness. How about some red crab or lobsters? Gotta have lobster fabric in your quilt, you know? And one more. We'll do this blue with polka dots. Actually, let's do this heart one because this lands like perfect on the block. All right. Yep, I'm gonna send it all to you in just 2 seconds. And then we'll start the next number, which is still again 4.5. All right, here you go.
What you do? Okay, you want these 2 piles yet?
Yep, I'm gonna take those 2 piles and start on those. All right, so here's the pile that has all the color, not the solid, the prints on the outside. So next, I'm going to turn it to the side that has the seam, and I'm going to attach now a solid 4.5 by 2.5 inch on all of these on one side. I totally thought to myself, you know, hey, I'm going to be using all those. Duh. I should stop until I know how many I'm making because I haven't been counting. See, my thread got tangled in the bobbin case again. It's been doing that a lot lately. I think I need to take this apart and clean it because it's been having underneath struggles. Not up here, just under there.
You said that all last summer.
I know. I keep saying I'm going to do it and I never do.
Well, now it's 105 out, so I got it.
Yeah. I could just clean it in here and use a vacuum.
Good.
Yeah, way too hot to be cleaning a machine outside. How do I make it look so easy? Well, it is. It is. It's just basic sewing. I have no angles here. I use a seam guide, you know, so I don't really pay attention to anything. I just let the fabric run along the seam guide. You know, it's kind of like, I don't know. I just make it look easy, and I'm sorry, but it really is. Everything matches up. If your 1/4 inch seam is equal, you know, everything should match up. So this was 2.5 by 2.5, 2.5 by 2.5, which equals 4.5 by 2, 4.5. So then you put a 2.5 by 4.5 on there. That means this is now 2.5 by 4.5 right here. So I'm adding 2.5 by 4.5, and then the next number is going to be 6.5. Quilt math is really easy because everything you knock off a half, and there's your number. So if you want the finished size of a quilt, your blocks are 10 inches, but they're going to finish at 9.5, and you're doing 10 blocks across that are 9.5 inches finished. 9.5 times 10, and that's your size of your finished quilt. The width. You know what I mean? So quilt math is very easy. You just subtract a 1/2 inch when you put things together. So doing this makes it really easy because everything I've cut all equals those numbers that are from when you add the two together. It's quite simple. It seems complicated, but when I was a beginner, I thought it was horribly crazy complicated. And now that I think about it, it's actually quite simple, quite simple.
It's quilt, man.
Yeah, it's not hard at all.
I'm gonna do a video called Quilt.
Yeah. Yes, I do. It's on my list of videos to record, actually.
Well, let's get her done.
I just need to get it done.
Speaking of videos, tell me you got Open Gate Quilt.
Oh, I have to edit the Open Gate Quilt video, so that should be out this week if you like watching that. This one's a fun one. I liked it. It's fun. Lots of extra stuff had to be added to it, so that's what made it, interesting. But overall, it's a fun one. I feel like there's none of those maroon colors or anything going on here. What the heck?
I got lobsters. Give me some lobsters.
All right. Do you have? Okay, he has more probably.
Oh yeah, I
set
got
those
lots
aside.
More.
I'm gonna grab the pile that has the solids on them now, and put the next is gonna be, so it would be print solid print. I'm gonna add to these. Oh, well then I'll finish with these then.
You ready for me to add more? To iron more? I mean.
Oh, here. He's a really ironing today.
Going to the new side.
What am I doing? I have it on this side.
You just sewed on?
Yeah.
So I'm ironing it over towards this way, right? Kitty, look please, real quick. I'm ironing it towards this way.
Yes.
That way you don't say I did it wrong.
I have them this direction. Okay. Let's finish these up so I can see how many are left. What that was, right? Yeah. Okay. I literally had eyeball brain fart. I thought I saw something other than I did. I feel like I went silent again, but I don't see any questions. Huh?
Some of them about Damon.
Oh, yesterday to my son. He did a good job. So he works in an automotive shop, and his coworker got caught on fire when they were testing the machine. It lit the engine on fire, and his coworker caught on fire. So he put his coworker out, and he has it on the video surveillance because mechanic shops have video surveillance. The video surveillance camera caught it, so he sent me a video so that I can watch it. And you can see him rush over to his coworker, putting him out, and then tapping his own hands off because it's hot, And so he put his coworker out, and then they got the fire out in the engine compartment. So my son did a good job, Damon. Yay, he put his coworker out. His coworker did suffer burns, though, he said, pretty bad. But it could have been worse if Damon wasn't standing right there, So that was a proud mama moment, to hear that he helped somebody like that by putting him out. And I just pray his coworker heals nicely, because I know what burns are like, and I've had them. My whole bottom side, back side of my booty was burnt one year, and I could not sit for months. I had to have special creams and everything, so I know burns. They hurt.
What do you want these?
Are those the ones with one? Okay, those can go out of the way for now, because those are waiting for the next step. Since I didn't know how many of these were going to be left, I have to kind of basically go by word. I'm thinking of a word that I cannot get out. I have to make them one at a time this far, because I don't know where I'm at with pieces, how many I have available. I was just guessing here. I just cut a bunch of solids and said I can work with that. I don't want dark next to dark. Well, it's gonna happen. So if I split these in half, I have enough to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 13. I can make 13 more. 16. I'm going to pull those out and pull 3 out of this.
How did you burn your behind?
15. How did I burn my behind? You guys ready for this story? So when I was younger, when my kids were little, I was a lake whore. That's what we called them. I'm sorry, that's just the word. So I was at the lake and with my kids, and I had friends, lots of friends, and I'm out on the water, and I'm laying on a floaty out in the middle of Nowheresville in 115, 20 degrees. I don't even remember the temperature it was. And I fell asleep in the sun. Yep, I did that. So I fell asleep.
On fire.
I didn't get lit on fire, no. I fell asleep in the sun for more than 3 hours. What woke me was a sea-doo came by. I floated way out. None of my friends stopped me. Nobody was whatever. I was so tired. I had kids, but people were watching. They're having fun. And I fell asleep out there, and a sea-doo woke me up, passing by me in the, whatever, like they were purposely trying to wake me. And so I ended up with 3rd-degree burns on my butt and my lower back. But obviously my butt and the top part of my legs, So I had to go to the burn unit, and at first they got the nasty stuff off, and I had blisters and welts. And if my mom's still in the chat, she knows, because I hurt so bad, but I needed help, you know. So I went and stayed with my mom for a week in California, drove there with the kids, and I couldn't sit on my butt the whole time I was there. So everything I was doing, I was laying on my belly on the floor, laying on my belly on the couch, laying on my belly wherever I could, because, well, let's just say I couldn't sit on my butt and I had to rub some silver sulfate on me every couple hours. I had peeling like crazy. I could not wear underwear. I could barely stand anything covering me like a nightgown. I still wore it anyway, but oh my God, it was horrible, horrible, horrible. But yeah, I had 3rd-degree burns. So I still have little splotches. I know you don't want to hear about my naked booty, but you know, when I get any kind of sun on me now, like sun tanning, even wearing the bathing suit, I have splotches, and it'll only tan in certain areas, and it's white splotches the rest of the way. It's so funny.
A true rump roast.
Yeah, true rump roast for sure. But yeah, I fell asleep in the sun. So I had 3rd-degree burns from that. This was in my way, way, way early 20s. I only had 2 kids at the time. So yeah, it was horrible. All right, I separated these. I'm going to sew this now onto this side of these. Pass these to Scott. That way I can finish all of this up and then move on to the next size. That way I'm using all of my stuff up.
I was just there and I asked you.
Oh, I was talking, sorry. I need to grab 13 of the 4.5 by 2.5 inch prints for the other stack. I've had some crazy things happen in my life. Let's just say that. And burn was one of them. Oh, it was horrible. 'Tis his life, though. And to this day, I haven't fallen asleep on the lake since.
You don't go to the lake.
I don't even go to the lake anymore.
We avoid that thing like the plague.
Yeah, we avoid it like the plague, as Scott says. We avoid it as best as possible because, you know. All right, I need to grab 13 of these. 2, 3. Come on. 4. Ooh, dragonflies. 5. Barbecue. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. Oh, let's use this one. 11. 12. One more. 13. Right here. So I'll be done with those. I think. No, I won't be, because they're going on this and then around the other one. Whew. Solids are on the bottom. Trying to piece them all in the same direction as well. And I just realized I did it again. this one since I messed that up. That should be all of them. Okay, there we go.
Where you want this step? On that one?
Yeah, if there's solids on the bottom, yes.
Am I ironing these?
Yep.
Everything's solid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because I haven't done the print ones yet. Because I was still trying to finish these up. How do I have so many squares? Because I cut my own pre-cuts out of all the scrap fabric. So between the scraps that I make myself from quilts and backing fabric scraps and all just so many scraps, as well as scraps that people have sent me over the years, if it doesn't make a fat quarter, then I cut it all down into usable size pieces. That way, when I do this at night, when I can't sleep or something and I just need something to do, sorry, hiccup. When I just need something to do, I cut it all down into usable sizes. That way, whenever I feel like it after stacking them all in these tubs, I can just grab whatever box like today and sew whatever I want, and it's already cut for me. Because I spent that hour every night in the other room. I don't do it every night, but I spent that extra hour. Sometimes I'm in there for an hour and a half, just depends. I cut all of my scraps down, so everything's just ready for me. Anytime I want. All right, those go over there. These go on the next pass. Now these are ready for the 2.5, 4.5. How many are here? I don't know. Let's just take a whole stack again. But yeah, like this was backing fabric. This was backing fabric. This was backing fabric. So I use a lot of, this was a backing fabric from quilts that I have made. I just cut it all down and use it. And that's a smart thing to do. If you have a ton of scraps and you don't know what to do with them, this is probably one of the fun ways, you know, because you can just sew what you want when you want to sew it. You don't have to worry about hassle of cutting it all down. This was a backing fabric right here. Like, I just chop it all up and use it. Oops, there's two there. I only need one. Only need one. Only need one. One. This was backing fabric. This was backing fabric. This was backing. A lot of this is from backing fabric from quilts that I make. I always have so much backing fabric left. This is part of a quilt that my mom made, a block that I have. It's from my birthday quilt.
Oh.
Yeah, some of this is really old too. I've had this fabric a really long time. I've been working on cutting all this for years, you know.
Well, there you go. It's Mother's Day and you're using some of your mom's fabric.
Yep. Oh, we gotta have Lincoln logs in there.
No way, you got Lincoln log fabric?
Lincoln log fabric.
Wow.
Yeah,
That is,
Lincoln log fabric.
you think you've seen it all, and then bam, Lincoln log fabric.
We got Snoopy fabric, but obviously we didn't get much of Snoopy in it. All right, I'm gonna sew these on and see how much of a pile we have here.
I have to go get water.
Mhm.
I need the heat. I'm sweating.
I know I need to stand for a bit. Whew. I've been sitting way too long. Yeah, I also make my own pre-cut jelly rolls, charm packs, but mainly solids or like background fillers for other charm packs. That way it's already ready once I buy a charm pack. I could make my own layer cakes if I wanted to, but mostly I just use the cuts that I use from 10-inch squares to create for patterns. I just use them as grab a piece that I need, the size to make sure it works for a pattern. But I could, if I wanted to make my own layer cakes, I could. But jelly rolls I could make. I have more jelly rolls. The fat 2.5-inch strips. I have 1.5-inch strips. So if I wanted to take 2.5-inch strips and 1.5-inch strips and make a curved log cabin, I could, because I have the stuff to do it. You know, and I could just do it at any time. No need to wait for anything because it's already cut and ready to go. And I know a lot of you like to know things like measurements and all that stuff. These are really easy for me to give you measurements on projects because it's already cut and it's a number that I can give you. It doesn't belong to anybody's pattern. It's just me doing my own thing. And it cleans up all the scraps. That's the other thing. It cleans it all up because let me tell you, scraps can be overwhelming. I don't need any more scraps because I still have bins and bins and bins of them to chop up. So I don't need any more scraps. The thing I really am short of is when I do give you guys a pattern and make quilts, like from a pattern and stuff, is blender fabric. I'm so short of that, and I tend to always go towards solids. You guys have seen it. I make a lot of quilts with solids, but every now and then it would be nice to have a blender instead of using a solid, just a blender that matches everything, Be nice. I mean, I have some, but some of them I don't have enough of, because some patterns you need like 3 yards of. And I definitely don't have 3 yards for bigger quilts for that kind of stuff, But I make what I make with what I got. So anytime stuff like that's on sale, I get it because, I need it. Oh, what am I doing? It's right there under everything. I need to pull out some more so that way I can get the next round of everything done because these will be done. I I now even cut my scraps to where I have, what's the word for it? There's a word. I have strings of all widths under 2.5 inches in width by 5 inch. And I have a whole entire tub so that I can make a piano key border anytime I want to put a piano key border on something. I have already cut the stuff to do it. So it comes in handy. I can just cut and go. Oop, I don't have that one yet. Don't have this or this. I don't think that's in there yet. Oop, gotta have some paw prints in rainbow color. Got that, got that. I don't know if I want to use that because that's not solid. It looks solid. Oop, got some butterflies here. Oop, we got a wine bottle. Put a wine bottle in there. It's the whole bottle. Look at that.
That is pretty nifty. Not that I'm a wine person, so I don't care, but.
Yeah, I'm not a wine person either. I don't drink wine. All right, we're just going to grab and see if this is enough here. I doubt it. Switch foot for the sewing as well while I'm at it. Also, the fun
Do you
part.
make binding ahead of time?
I do have scrap binding. I make a giant roll. I don't know where it's buried over there somewhere. I have a giant roll that I made, and I rolled it up of all the scrap binding, all the binding that has been left over from everything. I just sew it together, and that's what I use for scrap binding for scrap quilts. I put scrap binding on scrap quilts because I have tons of it. I also, if you guys have not seen my epic video, let me just show you. There is an epic video here on YouTube that I made my own yardage. I have about 30 yards here of homemade yardage. So that way, when I make a scrappy front and I want a scrappy back too, I can make it. If I want to say, somebody wants a scrap quilt and they just need a lap real quick for a donation, I can just throw 2 pieces together, cut off one and cut off another, put it together, and bam, I have a scrap quilt at any time. I love having everything pre-made for myself now. Like in the beginning, I was like, oh, what am I going to do with all this? And now, I do so many things. So if you haven't watched my epic video, now's your time because I show you how to make 36 by 44 inch panels. You put them all together in one long piece, roll it up like yardage, and guess what? I have full yard fabrics right here. It's heavy too. That's a heavy, heavy, heavy roll. It's crazy. Yeah, I do all sorts of scrappy stuff. I just don't, the only thing I don't do is crumbs anymore. I gave up on crumb piecing. I just not into it anymore. Right now I'm working on a giant box that is crumbs that as soon as it's full, somebody can buy it off of me or I'll give it to them if they pay for the shipping because shipping has gotten ridiculous. I normally give my crumbs away, but to local people, but they have enough as well, so nobody's been asking. There's only 2 people left that are just asking for batting here and there from my crumb batting. All right, this is not done. This is the rest of these. Nope, these go on here. All right, so here's this stack for you.
Give me iron some more.
Sewing foot flipped over. How weird. All right, let's finish these up. Yeah, no more crumbs. And crumbs are odd pieces, if you didn't know, like odd pieces of fabric that are like just odd pieces, really. You know, I'm just not cutting them anymore. Any questions? I'm asking if they have questions, they can ask them, because I can kind of see the chat. I ran out of things to talk about. I mean, you guys know everything about my life, so there's nothing more to talk about other than day to day anymore these days. You know. All right, all those are finally finished up. Now these ones need more of these.
These ones need more of these.
These, I needed 13 of them, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yep, okay, 13. 1. Oh, we don't have that fabric in there yet. 2, 3, 4, 5. I do have that one. We already did those. Roll it back some. Oh, we got to have some mustaches in here. 6.
Oh gosh, I remember when that was popular.
Remember when the mustache thing was popular?
Yeah. Kids were
7,
still in elementary over at Thunderbolt, and the bus had the mustache on.
8,
I remember that.
9. Yep. 10, 11. Oh, we got this butterflies. 12 and 13. All right, here we go. Let's put these on here now. And then we're going to move on to attaching the 6.5s, because all these will be done.
How did you end up living in LHC?
How did I end up living in Havasu? Well, so when I was young, I moved out of my house at 16 years old. I came to Havasu. I was with my grandma for a while my aunt and uncle got the house ready for me to move into up in Kingman. Well, I traveled back and forth here to Havasu to help take care of my grandma for years, but it was getting so bad with her Alzheimer's that she was calling me at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, Grandma, I'm not going to wake the kids and come to, but Tiffany, there is a leak. I can hear it. It's under my bed. I'm like, you can't have a leak under your bed, you know? So I would go in this. Oh, I don't know where the TV plug is. You know, it's plugged into the wall, Grandma, you know? So it was getting so bad that I would go there, and I'd pack up the kids at 3 o'clock in the morning, mind you, and put them in bed once I got to her house. And so the traveling back and forth. Well, in 08, I decided to stop doing that. Stop waking the kids and stop doing that. So she owned a duplex, and she told me, you know what, you can move into that. Nobody lives in it. I mean, whatever. She said, move into the one side and rent out the other side. Well, I never got the other side ready to rent, and I think that's why she got mad. And it was right before she died. So I ended up moving again, but I stayed here in Havasu, and I've been here since 08, permanently. But I've been off and on coming back and forth here for years, but I lived up in Kingman, which is just an hour away. So, and I liked it there too. The kids were all born there and stuff, but it's, I think personally, for those that live in the Arizona area, if you live in Kingman, I think Kingman is way more busier than here. I feel like there's less traffic here. It's easier to get around. Things aren't spread out that far. It's all in one area.
Because Kingman is all the main street.
Yeah, Kingman has way more everything, and I'm glad I live here because it's less, to me, it's less people, less crowding. But it's not. We have more people, way more crowded, more snowbirds, but to me it feels less.
We get all the California.
Maybe it feels less because I don't leave the house anymore.
Yeah.
Because every time I do, I get sick.
You don't know, you don't go out in it.
Either way, I moved here permanently in 08 to help my grandma, and she died in 2010. So. But I stayed. And then obviously, if I wouldn't have stayed, I would have never met Scott. And then we would never be married, and so on and so forth. Who knows where I'd be. All right, all those are done. Now we're moving on to solids of the 6.5 inch pile. There we go. So now 2.5, 2.5, 4.5, 2.5 by 2.5, 2.5, 4.5. Now 2.5 by, that's 4.5. Next is 6.5. I'm just gonna bring this right here, keep that right there, and start putting these on here. They're not very mixed up at the moment, so I'm gonna mix them up as I go. And they're all, he laid them out funny. I gotta turn them.
What do you mean I laid them out funny?
I think they're all this way. The
Yeah.
solid on the top. Okay.
They're all going the same way.
One was opposite.
Oh my. See? Bam.
I think we're not done with 4.5 yet. Okay. Still have a little bit more of it to go. Put that there. This up, grab these. That way we can blend all this in. What I'm going to do is like sew 20 of these and get them through the whole entire steps, and the rest I'll do off camera. That way you guys can see what it is we're making here before I get off. Oh, nope, I already got brown on there. Don't want brown. Let's put a blue. Not trying to put the same color that's in the block. I want them to be different. I'm using up a lot of my bins though, so that's a plus.
Knowing you, you'll have them filled again by then.
He goes, knowing you, you'd have them filled again in a couple weeks. That's right, because I cut so many scraps. All right, what I'm gonna do is do like.
You're the Scrappy Queen.
He says I'm the scrap queen.
She is the queen of mud dog, the white trailer. With all the scraps.
All right.
Frame. What can you do to slow it or stop it?
Does what?
Your fabric fray?
Does my fabric fray? Well, so far, no. And
What can you do to slow it?
to slow it or stop it, don't use super cheap fabrics, because the super cheap ones are the ones that fray the most.
Well, we use Walmart, and that's about the
And
cheapest it gets.
I use Walmart fabric, but there is cheaper than Walmart fabric. But mine really, it's not fraying. Plus, another reason why your fabric frays, bear with me here, is because you're constantly screwing with it, messing with it, sewing it, screwing with it, messing with it, sewing with it, pressing it, this, moving it there, holding things up. So everything is going to fray because you're messing with it constantly. If you don't mess with it and you keep your nice straight edge, you're good. So I just take it, sew it, and it's good. If that makes any sense at all. I know it seems like I'm being harsh about that, but it's true. You mess with it, it's going to, fray. All right, I'm going to set those aside and just do a bunch of these real quick. Move this one over. Move that over here for now. We're going to grab our 6.5 inch bin and do a couple of these for the solid on the opposite side, or the print on the opposite side now. So to prevent fraying, though, the best thing to do is just not mess with anything. Just place it up, sew it, place it up. And some of these are really fraying, some don't, But I'm not messing with it. I'm not tapping on it. All right, here we go. Let's grab some out here. Wow, there's such a big, huge. Let's try to smush that out of the way and grab some. All right, we need one of those. A lot of repeats in this bin. One of those.
I just came across the Lincoln Logs. If you wouldn't have pointed that out to me, I never would have noticed that's what it is. I would have thought it was just weird symbols.
But it's Lincoln Logs.
Well, yeah, now that you pointed out, I see it perfect. I never would have noticed that, though. And we got Charlotte Brown over here.
Ooh, we got some turtles.
Ninja Turtles?
No, just regular turtles.
Oh, come on.
See? Turtles.
Yeah.
Turtle.
I like my Ninja Turtles.
There's probably Ninja Turtle fabric in here somewhere. Out of bobbin again. Just know when you scrap quilts, you run out of bobbin a lot. Sometimes I like to use up the scrap bobbins too, because I have so many different colors already cut from leftover binding things of a different color. Don't you just wish we could have infinite bobbin, though? I mean, just throw a spool in there and it'll work. Huh? I'm going to right now. I'm stopping right here to do the next round.
How do you get excited about quilting? I'm in a slump. Got lots of projects, like motivation. Tell me, just did a video.
I just did a video recently on how to get your mojo back. But you can also do other things. It doesn't even have to be quilting. You don't have to be a quilter, have to do quilting related stuff to get your mojo back. Sometimes you just have to go and do something that's super boring, like read a book. Oh, wait, for some people that's fun. For me, that's boring.
I like reading books.
He likes reading books. I don't. So sometimes you have to just go do something that's super boring, like the dishes, or dusting your ceiling fans, or cleaning the toilets and the tub and all that junk that we have to clean. Sometimes you just have to do that and you go, well, I'm tired of this. And you finally want to sew again. I mean, it makes sense, right? We have so many of these things that all in different stages here. Pass those back to him. We're going to work on this pile. No. Well, technically on this pile. I need those done so I can move on to the next side. All right, we're going to grab some more out of here.
What done? I just got these.
Because we're in all the stages right now.
I just got these. I can't get them done this second. I just gotta give me. Pressing them that way, obviously.
Yep. Just everything is out from now on. You just press it away from.
Yeah. That's what I'm just making sure. I don't want to get yelled at.
Oh, we've already used a ton of this. Problem with these is I've been cutting them one, like when I have a strip of 2.5 inch, I cut like one 2.5 inch square, one 2.5 by 4.5, one 2.5 by 6.5, one 2.5 by 8.5. I've been cutting my, that way they're all, you know, there's the same thing in every pile. I'm trying to mix it all up though as best as I can.
How many separate blocks do we have here?
We have a lot of blocks. A whole heck of a lot of blocks. They're at different stages though to make one single block. All right, this should be enough of these or not, I don't know. Well, he sews those, I might as well sew these. I mean, while he presses those. Could you imagine if he was sewing? We'd be done already. If he was sewing them too.
How? I haven't gotten a chance to stop ironing. How would I be sewing?
Well, then we'll hire an ironer. We'll boot you to sewing and we'll find somebody else to come over and iron.
One question on the chat. I've been ironing the whole time we've been on, right? You know that. Have you not seen?
Yeah, they need to make a sewing machine that allows a whole spool, yes. And don't be tricked by the video that's going viral around YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, where a guy takes a spool of thread, sticks it through the bobbin casing, and lays the tiny spool in there, and then sews and makes it look like it's sewing. No, that don't work. That's 100% fake to get you to try it and watch the video. It's one of those get you to view it, you know? A trap video is what it is. I've seen it like several times now because I watch, you know, sewing and quilting themed stuff, and that video constantly comes up.
How do you know it's fake? Because you've tried it.
Yep, I know it's fake because I tried it. I was like, is this really going to work? No. If it came from the backside, it would probably work, but that's impossible for it to do that. So don't get duped. Don't get duped like me into saying, hey, does this really work? I really thought it did, but it didn't. Happy Mother's Day to those that are joining. Welcome. We're making half log cabins that we're going to connect together and make something.
Scrappies.
But it's all scrappy. Scrappy, scrappy, scrappy. That's what we're doing. I'm just waiting on him to press the one size so we can add the next size and get at least a couple finished blocks done before the end of the live stream.
There.
All right, thank you.
You're waiting on me.
All right, give that to him. Set these back over here. I think that's the stage pile right there. I'm just going to move these out of the way. And figure out where we are. didn't want 500 pieces. Just want. Oh, got to put some John Deere in there. I mean, here's some that's left over from an open gate project. There's so many leftovers from things. Like a lot of these I can probably.
You should have these mix and match. You want these in separate stacks, right?
Yes.
Well, you give them to me all.
Discombobulated?
Yeah. I just realized that now. Your solids and your whatevers you have put together. You have one here and one there. Why did you do that?
Just give them to me and I'll figure out what goes on what.
That makes it confusing for me. Okay,
all right,
there
this
you
one
go. They're figured out
now gets 6.5 of.
I fingered it out.
So now this one has solid, print, solid. So it's going to go print again. So it's going to get a 6.5 of print here and an 8.5 of print there. So I'm going to work on these. This, of course, already has that fabric. So just move that aside. We're going to add to this side. I'm just going to do a few so we can get 4 blocks up on the wall. And that way you can see what it is that I am doing here. They're in several stages, though, all of these. And these are 8.5-inch blocks that we're making. I'm going to move on to the solid one. Stick this over there, grab this pile, get some of these. Now these ones are print, solid, print, solid. So I'm going to do my 6.5 of the solids. I'm hoping that I have an equal amount of everything by the time I'm done. I cut everything equally when I was cutting it out.
Okay, these ones are all done now.
Okay, press these. Ah! Dropping it.
Drop it like it's hot?
Drop it like it's hot. Yep. Double Irish chain nearly completed. Heather's working on double Irish chain. I want to do triple because I have so many 2.5-inch squares. Eventually I'll get to it. Right now I'm just doing this. I shouldn't have even started another quilt, you know? I have a client one that I got to get done soon. I mean, it's only been a couple days, but you know, at least I got to get it done. But I was doing a bunch of little projects, so I was quilting little stuff. But I definitely, for myself, have a lot of big stuff that needs to get done. I just keep procrastinating and procrastinating. And I just do 500 projects at one time, you know, because that's how I work, I guess. It'll get done eventually. When I die, my kids won't have unfinished quilts to deal with. It'll all be finished, hopefully.
Okay, I don't have a spot.
That's fine. I will grab them because I'm going to give you this stack. On this stack to iron. And one more. Purple one there. All right, here's those. Move this out of the way. grab this pile right here. All right, so now these ones, 2.5 inch square. We got solid, print, solid, and now print. So now I'm gonna do my 8.5 inch prints. Just move these out of the way. So I have several, piles going at once. And literally, I'm gonna have to go to the bottom here because everything is already used in the top part. Because I was already using those for other things in this project. Now, grab from the bottom first. So these are 2.5 by 8.5. Ooh, we want the Arizona desert? Sure, why not?
Yeah, it's only 105.
This is the back of a quilt. Actually, that was the back of 2 different quilts that I've made.
There's only this.
Repeat. We don't want that. We don't want that because that's in it already. We're going to have to if we need it, though. That's a repeat. Place that in there. Alright, that's a repeat. There. This on here, we gotta have. This is the back of a quilt too. I remember that fabric. Alright, and we'll grab one more for now on this stack. Have Scott press them, and this block, these stack of blocks done. Put these on the wall when they're finished. Grab this pile. We're gonna grab the 8.5s and add these on here now. Slide that out of my way momentarily. Reach up here, grab this, put it on. So now I'm adding the one with the solid. And we should have 8.5 inch squares. Yellow. Let's go over here, grab. Oh, we already got pink. Let's do brown. Brown is not on that one. I think this will be a cool quilt.
It will be.
Yep.
Very scrapalicious.
Yep.
Should I start putting these on the wall?
I can. I'll get it. 2 seconds.
Oh,
Oh, then put them on the wall. It's going to be every other with these. That's why.
well,
I was going to lay them out.
You can move them while you want them when you're ready. I'm just putting them up there.
All right. Well, I'm going to give you this stack in just a minute because there's 2 more. And you press these, and I'll alternate them on the wall so that people can see what in the heck I am doing here and how much fun it is. because so far...
It looks pretty cool so far.
Alright, here's the last stack for you. Get those pressed real quick and then we'll put it all on the wall.
Somebody came in to sit here and stare at my feet.
Oh, sorry, camera's moving.
It already did.
Well, it moved. You gotta pre-warn me to warn the audience.
Why, you ain't been- Hey, what are you after? Goodness gracious.
Okay, well, while he presses those, I shall pull out a bunch of these. That way it's ready.
Are you going to put sashing between the blocks?
Will I put sashing between the blocks? Probably not. I'll probably just stick it all together, alternating the blocks. Because I can. Sorry, I'm making a nice stack of these. That way it's ready when I'm ready to sew. Oh, we got to have Tigger in the quilt. We got some Tigger right here. Tigger. He needs to go in the quilt.
Tigger's awesome.
Oh, those are solids. We don't want those. This in there. That in there. This one. That one. I don't know how many more I need because I'm just guessing here. Oh, we got some Lulla Boutique Christmas morning fabric. I remember that.
I want to see Christmas morning.
It doesn't, it's not Christmas looking, which is weird. I don't know why it's called that one. It's not really Christmas looking. I already had that. That wasn't a 6.5, but I didn't have that one. All right, I'm just gonna put this back right here, this back right here, and lay these on top. Set this aside while he's pressing those. I'm just going to grab my 6.5.
You want these on the wall too?
Oh, yeah, all right. There we go. So this is what we're doing here. Hold on.
I'm handing you ones. Take the ones I'm handing.
Oh, that's going to be so cool. There, we'll put this one. Oh, no, no matter what I do, she's
It's going to look like a, what is that, a kaleidoscope or whatever? That thing that you turn? Is that a kaleidoscope?
I have no idea what you're
You know what I'm
about.
talking about. The thing you turn and it makes
This one
different
will go
designs. You look
here.
through it.
Yeah, it's a kaleidoscope.
Yes.
This one will go here.
How do you not know what I'm talking about? You know you had one as a kid.
Solid. Here. Here. And solid. Solid. Print. What? Wait, how in that world? No, they're mixed up. There's not enough. There they are. Up here. Go here. And here. Did I not make enough of those? Apparently not. Oh, no, here's one right here. Here. Ta-da. See? Super scrappy. Scrappy, scrappy. But opposites, see? Because these are solids and these are prints. Then we have solids, then prints. Then the next is solids, then the next is prints. And it just alternates, but it's all super scrappy, super colorful.
It is very, yes, very scrappy.
I like it. I think that was a good idea. It was a good idea. And I think I'm going to do, as I said, depending on what's here, it looks like I might be able to do 8 across by 10 down with the amount that I'm piecing, I think. So hopefully by the time next week comes, I'll have most of it done and I can start putting it together. I'm not going to add sashing in between anything. I mean, I could if I wanted to, but I really don't want to. So, yeah. That's it. This is what I'm doing. All right. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. I'm making 8.5-inch blocks, but different colors. A solid start and a print start all the way out till 8.5 inches. So I have a lot more to piece, obviously, in all the stages that they are. There's 2 extra blocks that were here and there. So that's it. That's where we're at. Any questions before I get off of here?
I don't know.
If you guys have any questions, just ask. I'm going to work on this throughout the week. Oh, I have other things I got to do too that requires this table. So I got to get going. I got to get a lot of this done. But tomorrow I'm going to edit the open gate and get that out so that you guys can watch it. Hopefully I'll get it done tomorrow because it shouldn't be forever. It is a longer video. That's all I got to say.
That'll probably come out Wednesday.
Yeah, it'll probably come out Wednesday.
Because tomorrow we got a mail opening.
Oh,
Either
tomorrow or Tuesday I have mail opening, yeah. And what I've done, all the things that I've been doing around here.
It's mainly what you did through the week.
Yeah, it's mainly what I've been doing the last 2 weeks, yeah.
If you don't have much mail, it's just what you finished, like your cross wall hangings.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thank you all for hanging out. Happy Mother's Day to you mothers out there. And again, to you fathers who are acting as mothers, because that has to be done too. Or grandmas that are being the mom. But there's a Grandparents' Day, I think. So, and there's a Father's Day coming up. So, I mean, it doesn't matter the role. There's a day for you. And today's just for mothers. So, thank you all for watching. And I will see you whenever I open some mail and get the open gate on. So, that's what I have coming out this week. I just have to play on the computer. Oh, and I have a long arm video too. I got to edit though. I got to sit at the computer, which I hate doing. So, anyways, bye everybody.
Good night.
Good night. See ya. Sleep tight or so all night. Whatever.